Hi guys, it's me, Emmerich, aka Momo if you're based in China. And I'm coming at you today with a few concerns, comments, issues really with the new Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. As most of you know, I am a massive, huge Zelda fan. If you see my previous video, you've seen my little Zelda thing back here, my amiibos, my Zelda cup. I got Breath of the Wild on the day it came out along with the Switch. Pretty much just bought the Switch just to play it. And obviously completed the game. I'm having a real hard time with this one because everybody and their mother on the internet is giving this game 10 out of 10 and they're all saying how amazing it is and how great it is, and I find it kind of hard to admit that I liked it a lot, but I wasn't overwhelmed. I really like the open world. I really like its breadth. I really like the different regions. Zora's Domain looks amazing. The Gerudo Desert is great. I really like the town. Goron City's kind of crappy, to be fair. The Lost Woods are nothing to write home about. The Kokiri or Korok Forest, whatever they call it now, is really not that great either. But I like the world. The world is great. The world is really nice to walk around in, to go to fight things, and all that, you know, all that good shit. But I have such a problem with the dungeons. The dungeons are shit. They're really, really bad. And I tried really hard to like it, but every time I went into a Divine Beast, everything felt the same. Everything, and then even the fights with the Wind Blight or the Thunder Blight, even though it should have been Lightning Blight because it was lightning, not thunder. Come on, people. I didn't find them particularly challenging. I didn't find it, I liked the mechanisms that they could move, but I didn't find it hard. I really didn't find any of it hard. Yeah, okay, you died a bit at the beginning before you kind of got used to it, but after that, it was easy. And my final fight. Okay, we'll circle back. We'll circle back to that. But to me personally, Majora's Mask feels longer than this game. It does. It feels like there's more distinct places to go through and have. I know it's not true. I know it's not true. But the playtime on this game is really small, and I feel like there could have been so many great elements to it, even if you would have just taken the Divine Beasts and actually made them into temples, like traditional temples with a good boss. Okay, you could have kept the Blights as the bosses, that would have been fine, but if it would have been harder to get to them, if there would have been an actual challenge there, like mini bosses going through everything, the only thing there was like a big eye that you shot and sometimes spat a couple of monsters out, but there was no challenge in them. The puzzles weren't even that interesting. All you did was move it around a couple of times, click go and run up and touch a button. The overworld is great, the overworld is amazing, but it needed to be supplemented with harder dungeons, with just a more advanced kind of visual anything. I found the visuals boring. I got bored after going into the first 20 shrines of just okay, more blue. I got bored of going into the Divine Beasts after the second one when I realized they're all the fucking same. I expected to go into one in the Gerudo Desert and then go into Vandaboris and then go all the way into the one in Zora's Domain, Ruta, and just have them be really, really different because there were different feels, and I was expecting, okay, it's not going to have a lot of dungeons, it's going to have 4, but they're going to be huge dungeons, and they're going to be big and sprawling and with all these different types of enemies and shit, but there weren't. I found it harder getting up one of the towers in the game than doing any of those dungeons. I really, really did like the NPCs in the game. They were cool. I liked some of the side quests. I really liked Urbosa, if that's how you pronounce it, Lady Urbosa. She was my favorite. In all the cutscenes, she actually had character. Just didn't like the bird man. What was his name? So you don't even remember his name. Ravali? Ravani? It was cool. Hated Zelda. She was a pissy bitch. All she did was go around throwing piss at everyone. Piss everywhere. She was just so bitchy. And before it, all I saw was Ayanuma being like, oh, she's so cute. And then I got into it and it was just no hate. And then there was a one quest where it was a Sheikah guy who'd fallen in love with Zelda, and then he said, oh, but she only had eyes for her royal god, and it was just like, bitch, where? Where were these eyes? Mifa had the eyes for him. She just bitched about at him and then felt guilty for being such a prick, and then was like, oh yeah, I guess, you know, you protected me from the Yiga clan, which made no sense also because I don't really understand what they were doing. This game's major saving grace is undoubtedly the amazing world that Nintendo created, because I'm not going to let anybody take away from the fact that that is an amazing world. The mechanics are great, the implementation's great, like everything about the seamlessness of the world is really amazing and vast. It's really vast, but that came at the expense of gameplay for me. I really felt a lack of gameplay in this one. After I'd finished it, I was just like, okay, done. At the end of the game, when you go into your fight with Calamity Ganon, maybe, I think this was just my mistake. I'm gonna go into the castle. I'd been in once before to get a memory, and then I was like, kind of had a little look around, but nothing happened to me. I just found some guardians outside, some that would like target me with a laser. That was all I'd find, so I didn't really, you know, question much of it. I just jumped up to the spot, which was the atrium, I think. I don't know, could be wrong. I just used Rivali's Gale, jumped up, walked in, and then it was like, cutscene, now you fight Ganon, and I was just like, bitch, what? Like, I literally just walked into a room and it was like, bum bum bum, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da. And I was like, oh, looks like I'm doing this now? Like, even getting to him was so easy. There was no challenge in that. And apparently, if you do go in through the front door, and I went back after I'd done this, and walked, you know, around a little bit more. Yeah, there are some good enemies in there, but the game doesn't force you to fight them at any point, so you really don't have to. And also, if you did all the Divine Beasts, then Ganon literally gets half of his health taken off, which just kind of makes it pretty easy. And then every time he smashes against Daruk's protection, you can hammer at him with a sword, and then all you have to do is hold Urbosa's Fury, and then you can hammer at him with a sword, and it's just like, it was no real challenge. Like, he wasn't challenging. And then the next part where we just suddenly there was a horse there, and I had to just get on a horse and just shoot him, and then shoot an eye, and then it was done. Is that it? Is that it? She couldn't take that out in 100 years? She couldn't pop that eye? That's it? To sum up, my main complaint here, and it's a really big complaint, is that I just wasn't a fan of the temples. I really think that they detracted from the game. I think that if they were bigger, if the temples were real temples like we'd seen in every other Zelda game, and not to just be like stuck in the past, but I mean, they weren't a challenge whatsoever. Fighting a Lionel harder than Ganon. Think about that, Nintendo. And considering all the hype of this game and considering how excited I was to play it, I really did feel a little bit let down. It feels a bit empty, to be fair. The game doesn't compare to Dragon Age or even past Zelda titles. The world's better than those, but it's quite bare still, and I think a lot more content was really needed to flesh out this endeavor. And I know there's another dungeon coming in the DLC, which is great, and I'm sure that'll be exciting, but if the dungeon is just another, oh look, we found another Divine Beast Koroki, hard pass, thank you. That was a lot of complaining, a lot of bitching. As I mentioned, I love Zelda, and it's a shame for me that this game fell a little bit flat. Yeah. So if you guys have any additional comments, anything you'd like to say, or anything you'd like to see in the next Zelda, please feel free to leave them down below. And until next time, kisses from England. Bye guys.